Hi, I'm Carla Cannon, and we have been using the Gather Round curriculum for just under a year now. We've done several units and have used with my 13-year-old, we use the middle school level notebook pages. With my 11-year-old, he does the upper elementary, and my 8-year-old uses the early elementary, and she's also used the early reader pages. So every unit that we have done from Gather Round, I feel like we like it just a little bit more each time. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I think we've gotten better at tweaking it to really suit and fit the needs of our individual family. So I wanted to share with you how we tweak Gather Round so it works for us, and maybe it will inspire you for how you can adapt it to work for your family. So first, I think it's worth noting that we don't only use Gather Round. I know that it is sold as a complete curriculum other than math, and it's not because I don't think it's great. It's just that we have been homeschooling from the very beginning. I was homeschooled, and so we, over the years, have found curriculum that we really like. We like our writing program, IEW. We like the things that we do for spelling and grammar and copy work. So it's not that Gather Round doesn't have a good that it isn't a good alternative for those subjects. It's just that we are in a good routine with other things that we have used for years. So we, for the most part, stick with other curriculum for those subjects. Now, could you just do Gather Round? Absolutely, but my kids like really structured instructions when it comes to things like writing and grammar, that kind of thing. And so we've opted to use different things, which means that we don't do all the pages in Gather Round. Per any given lesson, we typically do 2 to 3 out of the 5 pages for the full units. I think this is huge because the families that I know that I work with that have used Gather Round and love Gather Round vary wildly in how many of the notebook pages they do. Some do all of them faithfully, and it is their core curriculum, and that works for them. Other families like us choose to do just a couple of the pages from each of the lessons. So I encourage you, if you're feeling stuck with some of the units or a particular unit, maybe you just need to really examine, do we need to do all the pages? Can we let some of that go? And perhaps then the unit will be more enjoyable for your family. That's what we found anyways. We started off doing, all the pages, and there's other things that were a better fit for us. And so how I approach it is I purchase the family digital bundle, and then I do not print all the student pages at the beginning of the unit. In some ways, it would be more efficient just to do that, but I hate having blank things. It bothers me and makes me feel like a failure. So what works to kind of get around that is that each week I pick out the pages that I want my kids to do that week, and I only print for, a couple lessons or at most 1 week at a time. And then that way I kind of know about how long the pages in that particular unit are taking, and I can hit the topics that are most important for us and then leave the other things. And it enables us to spend more time on the things that we're interested in and then not feel bad about the things that we don't get to. So pick the pages that you want to do and only print those pages so you have a beautiful collection of work that is completed instead of a collection of things that you feel is only half done. It's a small thing, but it really does make a big difference. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the amount of time that we spend on each unit. So we typically do a unit for about 6 to 8 weeks. A lot of that has to do with my husband's work schedule. He works away for at least 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and then he's home for 2 or 3 weeks, and we always do less on the weeks that he's home and more when he's gone. So it is been a good balance for us to spend about 6 to 8 weeks on each unit, and that means we do 2 to 3 lessons per week. They are structured that you can certainly do it faster than that, but we enjoy spending our time and watching a lot of YouTube videos and reading books and kind of diving into topics. So when I wasn't trying to get it done in that 4 or 5 weeks, it really gave us a lot more freedom in how we approached it, and we all enjoyed it more without feeling that rush to get on through it. So I would say find that balance that works for your family, and if you are spending longer on it, that's okay. It probably just means that you are digging deeper into the units than if you were doing, 4 or 5 lessons a week and going through them faster. If you like going through them faster, that's okay too, but find the pace that feels good for your family. For us, it's about 2 to 3 lessons per week. Along those same lines is that we do, like I said, about 6 to 8 weeks on a unit, and then we always take a bit of a break between each of the units. I joke that when my husband is away at work, he works up north in Alaska, so when he's away, we gather round, and then when he's home, I joke that it's time to go away, and not truly go away, but it's a time where we kind of take a break from coming together so much, and the kids work more on, their language arts stuff, or maybe they do more math lessons or hit grammar a little bit harder. So that works really well for us. If you're finding that you're getting sick of gathering around, maybe you just need a little bit of a break from spending as much time together, and so then take some time between units or in the middle of one if you need to, and then spend some time working on some of the more basic subjects and come back to a unit when you're all ready for something different, and that way it keeps the units feeling fun and fresh without just going from one to the next to the next. Another thing that I really take advantage of that is probably our favorite parts of the unit is the Gather Round There app, and I always go on there to find suggestions for YouTube videos or additional kind of hands-on fun things that we can add in, and I always, regardless of the unit, have started finding a Trello board for each unit. If you are not familiar with Trello, it's easy to use. You don't even have to build the boards yourself. You can just go and find one that's done, because some moms have put a lot of work into them, and they're a fabulous resource. And so I would, if things are feeling a little bit dry or draggy in your house, then be sure to check those out, because to watch the YouTube, there's so many wonderful YouTube videos where you have, when you're learning about volcanoes, to see an active volcano, or when you're learning about the human body. We loved Operation Ouch, and you could learn all kinds of things that were just brought to life by a video. So I encourage you to find those additional resources and take advantage of work other people have done for you. Overall, I really love the student notebook pages in Gather Round. I think Rebecca, having kids of her own, has done just a great job of having each level be appropriate for the age range that they give. And so I really love that. I love that we, learn about all the same thing and then have things that they can work on that are at their individual levels. That being said, I know a lot of people talk about the middle school pages and how on a lot of the middle school pages, they will have in pretty much every lesson, they will have some type of a topic. They'll give, a little paragraph, some information about it, and then they'll say, go research more about this and write a paragraph. Now, I like that. I think it's great, but we do not do every single one of those because it is a little time consuming. Because sometimes there are topics where there's lots of information is easily found, and so then that's great. Other times, in particular we found with oceans, with some of the creatures, there just wasn't a ton of information readily available at a good level for that topic. And so that's easy though. That's one of those things we tweak. Should a middle schooler be able to take a topic, research it and summarize some of their findings? Yes, this is a fantastic skill, and I love that that's included. Should they need to do that every single day? No, not in our house anyways. I don't want to put that much time into it. So how do I tweak it? Well, number one, we just don't do that page for every single lesson. You know, I'll pick one, or I normally pick two like that for the week that I think will be on topics that are easy enough to find information on. And so that's one way we tweak it. The other way that we tweak it is sometimes I will be more helpful in narrowing down websites or a YouTube video, whatever it may be, instead of just having my daughter go off and find the information on her own, which she does sometimes. I will send her, we all have iPads, and so then I'll find a video or an article that I think is good and send that to her, and then that kind of helps move the process along. So if you like that, if you don't like that, that is a really easy thing that you can tweak to work for your child. And then also, if you're buying the whole family digital, know that normally the upper elementary sheet covers the same topic, but they give more information. So you can always just have them read some of the information on that level of sheet, which I have printed because my son is using that level anyway, and then do their writing assignment. So that's another way to tweak it so it works really well for us anyways. One thing that I do just love about the notebooking pages is that starting in upper elementary, there is a place for kids to take notes during the lesson and then write a summary. I think that is fantastic. We had not done a lot of note-taking prior to using Gather Round. I just didn't really know how to incorporate it, and so it makes it easy to incorporate it. We've talked about how to take good notes. I kind of helped them more in the beginning. Now a year later, they don't need as much help taking good notes. So I love that that's a part of it. And then that first page of most of the units that we've done so far anyways is, you take a few notes during the lesson and then you write a little summary of what you've learned. And I think that's excellent. So at the early elementary level, my daughter dictates a sentence, I write it, and then she copies it. That's perfect for her at just, second grade here. And then upper elementary, my son normally does, between 2 and 4 sentences, depending on the day. And then my middle schooler does a full paragraph summarizing what we've learned. And that felt a little hard for them when we first started, and now it's something that they can take their notes and do very quickly. So I love that element of the lessons and the student notebook pages. We have really loved using Gather Round, and more than ever before, it has brought our family together, doing things and learning together. Even my husband has gotten involved more than ever before in our homeschool. So it's really been a wonderful thing for our family. And a lot of the families that I work with are saying the same thing. This is, people who are homeschooling for the very first time this year have loved Gather Round because it's just so easy to use. So, that end of things, it's been very popular. And also, homeschoolers who've been doing it for a very long time, like I have, are so excited to have an option that is truly meant for a homeschooling family with multiple age children, and it's just a very realistic, practical thing to use. So we have loved it, and I hope you love it too. If, for whatever reason, you're not loving it, I hope that through seeing how we tweak and change a few things, that you can be encouraged to tweak and change things to make it work for you. You are not failing if you change it to fit your family. In fact, you're the opposite of that. You are making something that's good wonderful by taking away or adding to it, whatever the situation is for you. So just remember, every family is unique, and what works for one family is not going to work for another family, and that's the beauty of homeschooling. We can all make it work for our personalities and that of our kids. So take things, add them, take them away, and just have fun learning together. And, as far as, is it enough? Should you add more? that is only something that you can answer in your own homeschool. For us, we have some different things that we like, and we've loved Gather Round too. So enjoy, have fun with it, and just enjoy your family and do what feels good to you. Bye-bye.